I think the one thing that we need to take from this is that if you're just a private landowner and you see someone coming on to your house with a bulldozer, you can make a difference. You can go out and talk to people and protect it.
My name is Debbie Wahrmund.
My name is Sehila Mota Casper.
My name is Jeff Wahrmund.
Hello, my name is Pat Cunningham, and the old Cedar Creek Latin Mexican cemetery is behind my house.
I think cemeteries are just really sacred lands, and it speaks to Latinidad and our culture. It also speaks to ritual practices and funerary practices. But I think that for many of us, a cemetery is just so sacred and so held in the heart of communities. And so many things happen at cemeteries. We have connections to our families there. We go there, we pray there, we perform ceremonies there, we honor people there. We have picnics there, I also think that they are just an incredible resource of an archive. As a historian, there's so many things that happen, within a community that can only be found in a cemetery.
My husband and I moved to Cedar Creek in March of 2020. It wasn't until March of 2021 that I got out and about and I was doing yard work. And next to our property line, there was this huge field of white irises. I'd never seen such a thing. The gentleman who was helping me said, "Oh, that means it's a cemetery." We broke through the fence, and it turns out we found all these lovely monuments. Some of them were beautiful wrought iron, some of them were stone. And the one that we could read the dates on, the birth was 1850 and the death was 1921. And then there was all sorts of rock formations, so we weren't sure if they were sites or not. So we felt this was really special, and I took a lot of pictures, and I took them to the Bastrop County History Museum, since I didn't know what else to do with them.
Met Carol Kaiser, who was the librarian at the time, and Carol knew I was working on the surveys, so she sent her name to me. I really didn't apply myself to this part of the county till Pat kept on asking questions, and I didn't know about Cedar Creek. In 2022, Carol Kaiser wrote an article with Pat's help about the cemetery, and that really opened up our dialogue.
So there I was on a Sunday reading the Bastrop newsletter from the local museum. And on the cover page, it talked about this newly found cemetery that happened to be in Bastrop County, where I reside. I called the archivist at the time, who then put me in contact with Pat.
They came and toured the cemetery and determined that it was really special. And so that was just the identification. Then we're reading in the newspaper that they're going to put a creekside development next door with 576 houses and also mixed use. Didn't think too much of it until I was in the house one day and I heard this terrible crunching. And it was like a 2-story high tractor, bulldozer, and it was actually crunching the trees and clearing out the entire area. It was a 700-acre plot next to our home. So I went out, and they were about 20 feet from the tombstones. And I think, since it was so overgrown, they might have just run them over. So I waved them down, and they got out of their trucks. I asked them to come see the tombstones. And once they saw the cemetery, they were just absolutely very careful and protective of the site from then on. There was not one damaged stone in the whole area. And they did completely clear all 700 acres. So I think that was really wonderful. But just to be sure, I went out there with my pink plastic tape and tried to put a perimeter. And so I realized that I found 2 cornerstones that had a whole lot of wrought iron around them. And I go, I bet that's the corner. And I measured my foot. I said, that's about a foot, 12 inches. So I walked straight back, and it was 145 feet, which is how big the cemetery actually was. So I walked it out and put the pink tape everywhere. After many trips to the Recorder of Deeds office to find the plot, determined that no one owned it, and it was 1 acre approximately. And so then it was protected. We filed this report. This is a notice of existence of an abandoned cemetery.
It starts with step 1 for the Bastrop County Historical Commission, which Pat has been through, which is basically, what do you do to preserve grave sites? By doing a notice of existence. That's what you do. And there's a link, and there's a form, and there's a way that you can do it as is for no cost. But if you do the notice of existence, then it goes in the deed. Then there's a record in the county clerk's office.
It's very, very detailed. It was submitted to the Bastrop County clerk with a number, and it was also notarized and sent to the Texas History Commission. This was sent in March of this year, and we're waiting for them to give us an official designation. After they do, then we'll file for historic designation.
The Historical Texas Cemetery designation is a little tougher. You have to identify as many graves as you possibly can. There's a process where the Historical Commission notifies adjacent landowners. You have to do all that groundwork so that you can give that to the Historical Commission. And if you are lucky, you will come up with Exhibit A. This is what it's all about. It locates the cemetery. It gives it a name. It tells the landowners next door what is there, and you have a chance.
It is a grand designation. We rely on it to recognize and as a type of protective measure, but it doesn't protect the cemetery. So there's still a lot of work to be done. I will say that historic designations such as this call attention. And so in this case, let's just say that we would have had a developer that was not preservation friendly or that did not recognize the significance of this. With that designation, maybe there would be like some reviews in place, but there would still be work to be done. I think the other wonderful thing about having it designated, then we would be able to get some state technical support and have people then be able to help out with some of the great work that the stakeholders are doing here locally. And then also with the state designation, if that does happen, it puts it on the map and there's an inventory. And it's, recognized and it's in the documentation. And then others will be able to see it as they're searching. And let's say that there is a longtime community member that's moved, across 4 or 5 states. Well, then they will be able to find record online of this cemetery and hopefully be reunited with their loved ones.
We wrote several letters to the developer, and I did not get any response. However, the director of the Bastrop County History Museum wrote. Again, the Bastrop History Community is a central point where all these people intersect. And she got a lovely phone call from the developer, and they said that they would be very happy to work with us. No matter what it took, they would be happy to participate. And so then they put up a retaining fence. It's just one of those fabric fences about 2 feet high that protects dirt from sliding down when they're doing construction. But they went around the entire cemetery. So we have the pink tape and we have their retaining wall. So I feel really good that it's protected now. It's ready for volunteers to look at all the sites, history people to research it. I did a little amateur thing. I researched all the plots that I found and numbered them. And I decided that I would look into where this came from. And since I'm not from Texas, I really had to start from scratch. 1835 was the year right before the Texas Revolution. The Mexican government authorized 52 grants of titles, and 17 of them were in Bastrop. When I looked at that map, I found 17 of them. The dates of the titles are on there. The title of the land where the cemetery is was to Antonacio Garcia, and it was in 1835. The interesting thing is that in November of 1835, Texas and the Mexican government stopped all Mexican granting of property. Texas said, "It's ours, you're not doing anything." We feel that these titles in this neighborhood, right where our cemetery is, were some of the last lands that were designated by Mexico to Texas, right before the Revolution.
One of the things that I value is making that personal relationship and learning the stories. Finding the descendants is absolutely the hardest part.
The last we saw, there's a note in the files that in 2011, a relative came, but we haven't been able to trace them. There's plenty to do. We also need volunteers to come and look at all 28 potential sites, brush them off, and see if they're real.
I think that by elevating and promoting, the work that's being done here locally, my hope is that other communities will see how community members are coming together, how they're aligning and joining forces and being able to protect cemeteries, and especially those that are abandoned or that have been forgotten over time. I think that this is a really great way for others to learn from this, not only here locally, but I think throughout the country. So part of us documenting this is that we will then be able to share this as a real life case study. And as we go out throughout the country, we can share this and share how people can then conserve their cemetery, how they can research individuals living there, how they can learn more about their communities, how they can help preserve, their family's history. The other thing that my hope is that comes out of this is that we will be able to do more advocacy work throughout the state of Texas regarding abandoned Mexican cemeteries. Because a lot of times in Texas, if a cemetery lies in an unincorporated place, then there are no protections for it. Nobody's caring for it. And usually that is, held and kept to the community that's there locally. And a lot of times our community will come together and help protect them, and just really amazing individuals doing great work. But there has to be more than that, because here in Texas, we have so much development happening. Cities are rapidly developing. Here in Bastrop County, we're getting so many pressures from Austin. We're also seeing, just so much commercialization that's being pushed out into what is currently a rural area, but in 10 years it will change.
It's not just for those of us who live here, but for the future generations. Even if you're not related to the people who are buried here, their history is intertwined with yours. Maintaining the cemetery, just as Pat has done, investing time, hard work, money, whatever you can, to keep it so that it's walkable, even if it's not mown. We all want to share in a safe place for people to go, like a park, but to remember people. So I think we have lots of challenges.
If you want to be a part of the movement to preserve things, the simplest thing to do is just get involved. Find out who's doing something, attach yourself to them, go with them. Go talk to the people at the local museums. You just walk into a cemetery, you find out people are hanging out in cemeteries. And some of them are hanging out because they're doing preservation work. And then you can start working with them. And you'll make connections, you'll meet people.
I would say that if you have a cemetery that is threatened or endangered, get active. Get out there. Start cleaning it up, meet with your elected officials, bring the community members together and go and speak to city council. I would also say that cemeteries, are long forgotten, and we have to be active in protecting these spaces. I don't have family members that are interred here, but I have respect for the family members whose loved ones are there. And I think that it's easy to forget that these were humans and individuals that contributed to our communities, that someone loved, it's someone's mother or father, and they have to be saved. They have to be protected. So if local community members are out there and they don't have a personal connection, that's okay. You can get active.
A lot of the older monuments are covered with lichens and moss. That's what eventually eats into the stone and causes it to decay over time. So you would just put a little water on the monument if you're just going to clean off the stuff and brush it, roughen it up. Then you spray it with, this is the solution made specifically for taking the growth off of stone monuments. It's D2. It's just a herbicide and a surfactant. Carry your sprayer with you and mix it up. You do not dilute this. You put it on directly onto the monument, and then you walk away. And you come back a month later, and you can start to see where the growth, the living organisms have started to die, and they're just turning to fine white dust, and you get a pristine monument again after so much time. If you need to restore a broken monument or reset a monument that has toppled, you want to keep things level. You may have to do a lot of excavating. There's a monument out there that's in two pieces. It has its pedestal, which over time, the earth had pushed it over, and then the monument part of it fell off. And someone set the monument part back up. So if we were to restore that, we would have to excavate the pedestal, set it upright, make sure it's level with our handy-dandy level, and then we would very carefully lift the monument itself and put it on top. But before we put it back on top, we would put some mortar on there, white mortar, to hold it in place. These are snake boots. You can get them at the hardware or outdoor supply stores. So when you're tromping around in cemeteries that have been abandoned for years, it's recommended that you wear protective gear.
Start small, talk to people, start in your backyard, talk to your elders, capture those stories.
Work very hard to protect it and get help. But also have hope, because I think it is possible that many of the developers will work with you. It's not hopeless.